Hello everyone, let's start the revision of history chapter 3, the Delhi Sultans. Okay, so everyone please open your book. What we saw in chapter 2, that the Kaveri Delta became the center of large kingdom. And there were no mention the kingdom with Delhi as its capital. That time, the Delhi was not the capital of Hindustan. That was because the Delhi became the important city only in the 12th century. When the Delhi became the important city? In the 12th century. So let's see. Delhi became the first capital of the kingdom under Tomara Rajput. First time the Delhi became the capital of his kingdom under which ruler? Tomara Rajput, who were defeated in the middle of the 12th century by the Chauhans. So who defeated him? Chauhans. And also they know we know as Chamannas. They were the ruler of Ajmer. It was under Tomara and Chauhan that Delhi became the important commercial center. That time the Delhi was famous for as a commercial center. And many rich Jaina merchants, Jaina traders lived in this city and constructed several temples in Delhi. Now which coin the minted over here is called Dilwal temple, or that was used in trading. Now let's talk about the transformation of Delhi. The transformation of Delhi into capital is that control vast area of the subcontinent started with the foundation of Delhi Sultanate. In which century? In the beginning of 13th century. Okay, now we can identify Delhi Sultanate in five dynasties, which come that together made the Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate, it's not that it is related to one ruler. No, the five dynasties, a group of five dynasties, Delhi Sultanate. Okay. Now the Delhi Sultanate been many areas, buildings, monuments in Delhi. Now have a look. Like they build the city in the area that like Delhi Kohana, Siri Fort, or Jahanpana. Now have a look, the five ruling dynasty which together made Delhi Sultanate. So first, as you can see in the Delhi, Delhi became the important center in the time of the reign of ruler Tomra, Angapala, the Chauhans, and the Prithviraj Chauhan. Now the Turkish ruler who set up his the rule on Delhi, the first Turkish, the Delhi Sultanate, Kutubuddin Aibak, who was the governor, who's appointed as a governor of Delhi. Now after him, who succeeded to Kutubuddin Aibak? His slave Shamsuddin Iltutmish. Kutubuddin Aibak, after Kutubuddin Aibak, he declared Shamsuddin Iltutmish as a ruler of Delhi. Now the Shamsuddin Iltutmish's daughter became the ruler. Now then after Ghiyasuddin Balban hold the reign of Delhi. Now after that the Khalji dynasty came into effect in Delhi, that the first is Jalaluddin Khalji, then succeeded by Alauddin Khalji. Then next is the Tughlaq dynasty, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad Tughlaq or Firozshah Tughlaq. After that Sayyidi dynasty, Khajir Khan and Lodi, the last ruler of Delhi Sultanate, Behlul Lodi, who was defeated by Humayun or Babar? Babar. Okay. So let's have a look. As you can see in this picture, what they are doing, they are busy. They are doing making manuscript. So for first the manuscript, as you can see in this picture, preparing the paper. And then second, the person writing on manuscript, writing the text, then melted the gold and highlighted the important words. As we are highlighted the important word na, like this. So they used gold metal to highlight the important words and passages. And then the last pick of this that the person is prepare the binding the manuscript. Okay, and the manuscript were written in which language? Persian language. As you know, the manuscript the written by the person, those who are specialized in the writing. So, and these were written in which language? Persian language. So the administrative language of Delhi Sultanate was Persian. Okay. Now here you can see the we get the information about Delhi Sultanate through this manuscripts. Lot of information we get also by the monuments. Now you think that there is Tariq means singular and Tuariq plural. So they related to manuscript related to many rulers, these manuscripts. So that is why they use plural form. Now the author of Tuariq were learned person, like they were the secretary hote the, administrator hote the, poet, courtiers, or sometimes they wrote the manuscript in to kiske want reward by the ruler. They were rewarded by the ruler when they wrote the manuscript for his ruler, who both recounted events and advised ruler who governs, emphasizes the importance of just rule. Now here we can have a circle of justice. So let's understand. As you know, early time or still we people are most of the economy of our country is depend on agriculture. Same way that time the king cannot survive without soldier. And when the soldiers serve for the king, when they got salary, without salary they can't survive. So the salary comes from revenue, or revenue kahan se aata tha? The revenue comes from the peasant. If when the revenue had good or enough, when the peasant were happy. So the peasant cannot give revenue if they were not happy, if they were not press or happy. So ultimately the king totally depend on revenue, and revenue comes from peasants. So if the peasants were happy, so the revenue they got enough, and when soldier were happy, when the soldier were happy, so they serve for the king, and the king protect their empire. So ultimately it is a circle or cycle of circle kiski to circle of justice, circle of justice, that one upon each other, they all are dependent on each other. Like king depend on soldier, and soldier depend on revenue, and revenue comes depend on peasants. When the peasant were prosperous and happy, तो उनको revenue अच्छा मिलेगा. If they got revenue good, so the soldier were happy, तो king efficiently he administrate or rule in his area, or protect by or he protect his area from the others. So this was the circle of justice. Now keep the following additional detail in mind. The author of Tariq kahan rehte the? They lived in city, in which city? Mainly in Delhi. ठीक है. Though often wrote क्यों लिखते थे? As I told you, their histories of sultan to hope of rich reward, कि उनको अच्छा पैसा मिलेगा. These author, or they maybe उनको land मिल जाए. These author advise ruler on need of to preserve an ideal social order based on birthright and gender distinctions. Their idea were not shared by everybody. Now, so let's talk about birthright. Kya tha? Privileges claim the account of birth. The people believe that the noble inherited their right to govern because they were born in certain families. Yani ki the post is on the basis of hereditary. Agar uska father, for example, his father was Diwan, revenue minister, तो उसका बेटा भी दीवानी बनेगा. Because that son was born in that diwan family. उसका father diwan था. Now gender distinctions क्या था that time? The social and biological differences between men and women. So these differences were used to argue that men are superior to women. So that thing show that that time the men dominated society. So they gave a privilege to they were gender biased and they gave a privilege to the men. Okay, that is why when the Razia Sultan became the ruler of Delhi in 1236, so the many chronicles, the nobles were against it. They opposed this because they were not accepted the Sultan, the woman Sultan, the woman as their ruler, the woman as their Sultan. Okay, and because they thought that they all were gender biased. Okay, and it was not comfortable for them to that they accepted the woman as their queen, as their ruler. So what happened, after 4 years she became the ruler of Delhi in 1236, Razia Sultan, and very soon after 4 years she was removed from the throne in 1240. So what this thing shows us, कि that time the society was man dominated society, the people were gender bias. Okay, so gender distinctions were there. I hope it is understood by all. Show your digital thumb, everyone. Sajal, Vivek, Anant, any problem beta, any confusion?